everyone. In today's video I'm going to use this unusual hook for me at least, very usual kind of flies, and those are parachute flies. And I'll give you, of course, as usually, my thoughts behind the process and how I tie, why I tie, and so on. So if you stick throughout the video, I'll probably share more than enough tips to tie a very nice fly every time and to be consistent about it. Now, without any further ado, let's get into materials and again reasoning behind those materials. So let's start with the nano silk Semperfli in 50 denier. And first of all, because the thread is GSP, so it's slippery, I want to increase the friction between thread and the hook. So I'll just go and run beeswax over the hook. Now, I want to make, again, slippery thread. I want to make a thread layer before I start mounting my materials. So I'm doing that by using reverse jam hitch here. And I made already a video about reverse jam hitch, so you can see that video if you want. I want to cover almost the whole shank, not completely, but I need a little bit of bare shank here, because this is the place where I want my parachute posts to start lifting up. Parachute post is parawing, and it's already treated with watershed. You can choose to use the whole strand like this, but I think it's too thick for the size of the hook I have. So what I like to do, I just use needle or anything with a point, and wherever it's braided like this, just go and kind of untangle that slowly. So because I have only one more knot here, I'll probably be able to just pull out without untangling. And I'll like a little bit more than a half should be enough. Yeah, I have to untangle again, because sometimes these kind of knots are tangled very, very much. Sometimes they're not. So yeah, it depends on the situation. So just slightly more than the half, I can use it. And because I don't want to go around the hook like most of the time I do with parachutes. I want to create taper immediately with this parachute post. So counterspin the bobbin holder until your thread is neutral or jumping into your fingers here. So as you can see, it's slightly jumping into my fingers. 1 wrap, 2 wraps. If you need, you can manipulate thread and then pull up to tighten, and then pull up to tighten, pull up to tighten, and pull up to tighten. That's secured so it doesn't come out anyway. And now it's time to make a taper over here and make a relatively nice and smooth taper. Don't go super abrupt. Like, having an abrupt taper is not very good here. So with flat thread, cover everything, and you will see that the taper is coming down slightly and very nicely. Now this is also the time I will add some wire to the far side here. Just slide it out, and I'll flatten out the thread again because it's not flat, as you can see. Flat thread covers more surface area and also occupies less space, which in turn gives us more delicate fly, more slender fly if you're after that. So when I reach the bend, I will take out my black pheasant tail here. Take out maybe 4, maybe 5 barbs like this. It's not so important to know the number. Now make those barbs perpendicular to the rachis, and then just pull the rachis out. If the butt ends are aligned, it's safe to say that tips are going to be aligned as well. Keep it that way. It is not super important for this fly to do that, but it's good to practice these things. Now, just go with your thread all the way to the parachute post. That's it. Now, opposite direction, like barbs, I'm wrapping the opposite or unconventional direction. So the other way compared to the thread, making nicely tapered body. Oops. Okay, one more, and then I'll just transfer hands, catch it here. Okay, 1, 2, because it's slippery, I'll take 3 locking wraps. Okay, and now I'm crossing the opposite direction, so the barbs were going towards me, the wire will go away, well, conventional direction or the same direction as the thread. Sometimes I like to make tag here. You can do that, so make like 2 or 3 wraps here. Now it's not important where you place your wire because you don't have any tails to move with wire, so I can do and make this slight tag over here like a hotspot. Makes nice contrast to this black body, and when I reach here I can just catch it with 1 wrap, pull against it, move it away, and then that's it. Now at the same time I secure the wire and I lifted up the parachute post, which I will maneuver a little bit more, but this is what I need. Now you can go very nicely without too much pressure and just make this parachute post rigid. Now first things first, I want to make it a little bit more rigid at the base here, so when I go up it doesn't untangle. Now it's very important that with flat thread you go up the post like so, and every once in a while, before it happens what it just happened, I mean this, don't allow that to happen because you're wasting your time basically. So before that, just tighten everything. By tightening, you're actually making this post more rigid, more smooth as well. Okay, I applied a little bit more pressure than I wanted, and now it's time to go down. This is like 1, 2 times I covered. It's time to flatten the thread, and as you can see, bobbin holder weight doesn't affect the rigidity, the position of the post. So I'm just going down. Okay, so I can do those 8s, figure of 8s here, and that will make it a little bit more rigid. Okay, I got this fiber here. Now I like to form the head, and because of the shape of the hook I need to reposition the hook. As you can see, I like to form the head on all my flies. It just looks nicer. Okay, now it's time to use the Heckle, and the Heckle, as I showed you already, is this beautiful whitening cape. I'm not sure about the color here, but it's just beautiful. It's not uniform, like every feather has a soul of its own, and it's just nice. But you don't want to start your wrapping Heckle from this point, because these barbs, these are too fluffy. They will not add buoyancy at all. These are too long, fluffy as well, and soft, so they are not aiding buoyancy as well. Reikis is again too thick, so like instead of wrapping maybe 5 wraps of Heckle, with this you can wrap 3 and still not getting anything. So you want to go all the way down, and you will see here this fluffy part on the barbs is tapering down, and when it reaches the rachis, you can just cut your feather there, and you are into dry fly section of your feather. Everything else towards the quill that I just discarded can be used, but it's not commonly used. So I'm cleaning off the rachis here, and when I place the feather, I want this shiny side towards me. So when I rotate it, this side of the feather here will hit the parachute post first. So I want that side to have less barbs, a couple of barbs less, that's it. So that would be the right side of the feather. Yeah. So catch it here and see if it's okay. It has to be slightly longer than the parachute post, because as you're going to secure it along the hook and go behind, that will shorten it a little bit. And when you shorten it, let me just show you this. When you shorten it, then those barbs are actually just slightly longer than the post. So now you finish with your thread behind the post, you place your thread where you want it, flat thread again, that's kind of very important, and then just wrap the thread around and around, and then pull the thread to tighten everything, pull the thread to tighten everything, and I'm trying to go one wrap of thread less than the actual height of the parachute post, and that will become very important in a second. So let me just point out that thing. As you can see, let me see, is that enough? Almost. As you can see, I didn't go with my thread all the way to the top of the parachute post here. It's less. So when I start wrapping, my first wrap goes exactly in that, let's call it shy area here. Okay? Now, a little bit of peacock dubbing, and in clockwise direction tighten the noodle. I don't want too many fibers, dubbing fibers sticking out, so I'm dubbing rather tight dubbing noodle at the moment. And the whole point of this fly and the materials for the body is to penetrate water more easily. So if you're using something like CDC, and if you make it even like fluffy, it may disrupt the balance of your fly at first maybe one or two casts, whatever, but still those first casts are the most important when fishing. So you want your fly to have function from the first time it hits the water. So I want this body and this shape of the hook, so all body should be submerged, as you could see in the videos, should be submerged underwater, and only the heckle should be in the film or above the water, and this is for you to see the fly. So let's go and cover everything. Now I go behind, in front, behind. Let me see, that is good. Yes, it is. Behind, and I want to finish with my thread behind the parachute post. Again, I like to tilt the hook in the vise, and as I was saying, now you will see that your heckle, number one, it's perpendicular to the parachute post. Number two, it doesn't go over the bare polypropylene or parapost wing, it goes directly on the parachute post. Now let me see what I did. I did a little bit more pressure here, yeah. So I go under with my feather and pull it up. Go under and pull it up, under and pull it up to compress and get those tight wraps here. And then go under and pull it up. And as soon as the feather starts fighting you, you see those barbs going around, all around. It means that you have enough. And I think this is enough. I'll go just a little bit back. I'll spin the bobbin holder this time to make this thread a little bit thinner and make it bite into the parachute post and bite the feather here, so it secures it a little bit better. So 2 wraps over the feather, 1 under the feather and under all those barbs that may be out of axis here, out of level, water level, and I'll take my scissors now and push, like open blade, like so, just push it against the rachis to cut the feather. And what this does is, okay, it doesn't cut any barbs that I don't want to be cut. And now I need to make whip finish knots, which I prefer to do. I feel I have more control with a tool rather than hands. So I'll go under, and I'm trying to avoid, as you can see, I'm positioning the, oops, I lost it, never mind. I'm trying to position everything under barbs. Let me do it again, it's okay. So we go under and see, just jumping down. So I did 2 knots, I usually do 1 in parachutes. Now tighten the knot, hold the parachute post and tighten the knot, and you have beautifully done parachute hackle here. Same as I was cutting the rachis, I'm cutting the thread this time. And something I've learned from Gondor van der Spey is I need to check it again. I never tried it yet on my real flies because I started doing it recently, is to tilt your scissors instead of parallel to the water surface. You tilt your scissors like this, which Gordon says it makes this whole area here rather bigger than if it was cut flush, straight, whatever. So this apparently will make this larger and more visible in turn. And okay, let me show you. So as you can see, no barbs are going down, so no barbs were needed to be cut or done anything. Nothing was done additionally to make this fly kind of prettier or whatever. So if you do everything right from the beginning, there is no need to correct your actions later on. So what also Gordon says in his book Feather Mechanic, and his second book as well, is that it's like domino effect. If you make a mistake at the beginning, it will affect your fly with each step, with each next step. So try to make your fly right from the very beginning. So this is finished fly. You don't need to strip one side of the hackle like here to get your hackle nicely done. You just need to kind of follow the, let's call them rules, make nice parachute post, flat, smooth, so the hackle actually lays better on it. The whole reason behind it, the rachis that has those barbs on is not a round in cross section, it's rather flattened, and from these flat sides the barbs are coming out. So when you start wrapping, the feather will always go on flat side, it will not roll onto you. But if you have bumpy parachute post, then the feather will follow those bumps, and all those barbs are not going to be perpendicular. They all those barbs actually tend to go perpendicular to whatever is below them. So if your base is not straight, then those barbs cannot be perpendicular. They will go and follow the angles below. So that's it. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned something, and until next time, keep safe and tight lines.